How about something a little more uplifting? Welcome to Positive Listicles, and today we are counting down on the top 10 positive news stories of 2020. These are crazy times that we are living in, and these 10 news stories will give you hope for 2021. So, here are the top 10 positive news stories of 2020. Number 10. An artist created a new economy built on trust and generosity during lockdown. It was the beginning of lockdown in the UK, and like millions of people across the country, artist Matthew Burrows was feeling anxious about the impact the pandemic was likely to have on his industry. Matthew Burrows wanted to help other artists put food on the table during lockdown. He felt compelled to act, and while out jogging near his home in East Sussex, he hatched a plan to help artists sell work during lockdown. The idea he came up was simple. An artist posts work on Instagram for no more than £200, and when they reach £1,000 of sales, they had to buy another artist's work, thus helping one another during these difficult times. The whole module was based on trusting that an artist would buy another artist's work when they reach £1,000 of sales, and thereby being generous towards his fellow artists. Burrows tested the water by posting some of his work on the social media platform one night, and by the next morning he was one sale off, making his pledge to buy another artist's work. Thus, the Artist Support Pledge was born. Other artists signed up to the initiative, and Burrows says that what followed was a tsunami of positive feedback. 3 months on, and what started as a sticking plaster for a gravely wounded industry has evolved into a kind of global microeconomy generating around £48 million in sales. Having raised an estimated £48 million, the Artist Support Pledge has launched as a not-for-profit company with support from the Crafts Council and will continue to help struggling artists during these difficult times. Number 9. Teen who cleaned up city for 10 hours after protest receives car, insurance and scholarship as a thank you. A high school senior from Buffalo, New York was dismayed to see the damage caused by protests in his hometown. He didn't waste a minute more on worrying though, and instead began cleaning it up, starting at 2 a.m. and continuing for 10 hours straight. Now his community is handsomely rewarding him for his good deed. Antonio Gwynn Jr. didn't give much thought to his positive actions. Word of what Antonio did spread fast, with a news report airing on WKBW-TV. When Matt Block saw the report, he knew what to do with a 2004 Mustang convertible that he had previously been reluctant to part with, and gifted the Mustang to Antonio. The car turned out to have more meaning to Antonio than Matt could have ever imagined. Anthony's mother, who passed away in 2018, also drove a red Mustang. Antonio was overjoyed on receiving the car. A local insurance agent has promised to cover the cost of Antonio's insurance for a year. Antonio has also intended to begin attending trade school in the fall with a goal of saving up enough money for college. Now he has been offered a full scholarship to Matale College. Antonio, who is involved in many community projects at church, said that although he is grateful for the gifts of help, above all he hopes that his actions have made his late mother proud. Number 8. Time magazine names teenage inventor its first Kid of the Year. A 15-year-old scientist and inventor has been named as Time magazine's first Kid of the Year. Gitanjali Rao from Denver, Colorado, has invented new technologies across a range of fields, including a device that can identify lead in drinking water and an app and Chrome extension that uses artificial intelligence to detect cyberbullying. Gitanjali was chosen from a field of 5,000 nominees, which was whittled down to 5 finalists by a committee of young people before naming her the Kid of the Year. Time began awarding its Man of the Year honor in 1927, later updating it to Person of the Year, but this is the first time it has named a Kid of the Year. Number 7. The search engine that plants trees with every search has just planted its 100 millionth tree. For 11 years, the search engine Ecosia has used most of the revenue from advertising on its website and app towards planting trees. And this month they planted their 100 millionth tree. Ecosia was founded by Christian Kroll as a German non-profit, and it became the first B corporation in that country because it was established for social good. Ecosia often targets countries that are the most biodiverse, where tree loss directly corresponds with species loss. In 2018, for example, they created a tree nursery for 200,000 trees in Madagascar to help create a forest corridor leading from an isolated habitat to the ocean. Following the devastating fires in the Amazon, the number of people who had installed the Ecosia app doubled, allowing them to fund a 3 million tree planting project in Brazil. Just last year, they celebrated their 50 million tree milestone, having now doubled it in just 1 year's time. 100 million trees means habitats for endangered animals. It means healthy rivers, more biodiversity, and fertile soil, and more fruits, nuts, and oils for local communities. Ecosia is a dream company for any environmentalist. Besides planting over 100 million trees, they have built their own solar power station to energize 200% of all the power required to run their servers. They have also committed to never selling the company so that no one will ever become rich from their efforts except Mother Earth. Number 6. Woman donates kidney to the cop who locked her up. A woman whose picture was once on the most wanted list in Franklin County, Alabama, is so grateful to the officer who arrested her that she is giving him a kidney. Jocelyn James was addicted to opioids and supported her drug habit by stealing and breaking the law. Between 2007 to 2012, Officer Terrell Potter arrested her multiple times. Now, the woman is saving Potter's life because she believes he saved hers by helping her turn it around. Last November, the former police officer learned that his kidney was failing, but doctors said the waiting list meant that a replacement organ was 7 to 8 years away. As soon as Miss James saw the Facebook post about Potter needing a kidney, she said she heard God tell her right then to donate her organ, and as fate would have it, the two were a perfect match. The surgery was performed and all went extremely well. The former officer now considers James like another daughter and said that this gesture has made a great relationship and a bond between them that can go on forever. Number 5. Athlete with Down syndrome makes history as first to finish an Ironman race and gives the medal to his mom. Clocking in at 16 hours, 46 minutes, 9 seconds, just 14 minutes shy of the 17-hour cutoff time, triathlete Chris Nikic didn't finish with the fastest time when he recently completed his first Ironman race, but he did set a new world record. This month, after swimming 2.4 miles, the 21-year-old Floridian cycled 112 miles and then ran a 26.2-mile marathon to become the first competitor with Down syndrome to successfully cross the finish line in the 42-year-old history of the Ironman race. For his awe-inspiring efforts, Nikic also earned himself a place in the Guinness Book of World Records as the first person with Down syndrome to become an official Ironman. Nikic's father, Nick, hopes that parents of other children with Down syndrome who see what his son has achieved will be inspired. We want them to realize earlier that their child is a blessing and they can live an amazing life, he said. As important as taking on the physical and mental challenges of an Ironman were to Nikic, he had other compelling reasons for entering the competition. He might not have been carrying a banner, but the message he took across the finish line with him was clear. To Chris, this race was more than just a finish line and celebration of victory. Ironman has served as his platform to become one step closer to his goal of living a life of inclusion, normalcy, and leadership. It's about being an example to other kids and families that face similar barriers, proving no dream or goal is too high. If Chris can do an Ironman, he can do anything. With hopes of competing in the 2022 Special Olympics scheduled on his home turf in Orlando, it looks as if Chris Nikic has plenty of big dreams yet to come true. As for that medal he won for completing one of the world's most grueling triathlons, he gifted it to his loving mom. Number 4. Billionaire reaches his goal of giving away his entire fortune after 38 years of secret donations. In 1982, a wealthy businessman quietly set up a philanthropic foundation. His goal was to secretly give away his entire fortune. Now 38 years later, he has achieved his goal at the age of 89. Chuck Feeney made his money in the duty-free shopping business, building a nest egg of $8 billion over the course of his life. The Irish American is known for his frugality and humility. Despite his riches, he does not own a car. He rents a small apartment, he flies economy class, and he owns only one pair of shoes. The co-founder of the duty-free shoppers group managed to keep his charitable activities hidden from the public for 15 years until his identity was revealed to the public in 1997 when he sold his shares in the company. This year, Feeney's foundation, the Atlantic Philanthropies, finally ran out of money. The elderly businessman told The Guardian that he was very happy with completing this on his watch, and he urged other super rich folks not to wait until after they have passed away to experience the joy of giving away their fortunes. In addition to its direct financial impact, the businessman's charitable actions inspired Bill Gates and Warren Buffett to establish the Giving Pledge for the world's richest people. Those who take the pledge commit to giving at least half of their fortune away to charity. Number 3. Scotland becomes first country in the world to make period products free. Scotland has passed a bill that has made period products such as tampons and pads free to all who need them. The Period Products Scotland Bill, which passed unanimously, requires local authorities to ensure that period products are generally obtainable free of charge. Schools and colleges must ensure period products are freely available to students, and designated public places must also make the products available. Monica Lennon, who introduced and championed the legislation, thanked those who have campaigned for period dignity and to her colleagues for backing the bill. A proud day for Scotland and a signal to the world that free universal access to period products can be achieved, she tweeted. That's right, Scotland has become the first country in the world to make period products free for all, the country's official account tweeted. Because in Scotland, we believe it's fundamental to dignity, equality, and human rights. Number 2. Newly developed enzyme that breaks down plastic bottles in hours is on track to change the recycling game. Scientists have created a mutant bacterial enzyme that not only breaks down plastic bottles in hours, but the leftover material is good enough to be recycled into high quality new bottles. Existing technology only produces recycled plastic that can be used for certain items like sweaters, sleeping bags, jacket insulation, and even carpets. However, utilizing an enzyme found within composted leaves, scientists are now breaking down plastic all the way into a recyclable form in a matter of hours. Carbios, a French company responsible for the breakthrough, is already collaborating with Pepsi and L'Oreal to unleash industrial market-scale production of the new substance within 5 years. Number 1. 99-year-old veteran raises $33 million for Britain's healthcare system by walking his garden. 99-year-old veteran Tom Moore set himself a goal to raise money for Britain's widely cherished but chronically underfunded National Health Service during the deadly coronavirus outbreak. He set up a fundraising page and decided to walk the 82-foot length of his garden back and forth 100 times. Using his walker for support, he split the journey into chunks of 10 laps, with the idea of completing them before his 100th birthday on April 30th. Initially, he wanted to raise £1,000, which is about $1,250, but he now smashed his target and raised $33 million. Moore has been embraced across the country as a national treasure who is bringing people together during a period of tragedy and widespread uncertainty. Multiply the positivity by sharing these sweet stories with your friends on social media.